Hello, good evening and welcome to UPfront. Today, just when the dust seemed to be settling on the $72 million software, controversial software by SSNIT, the trust is engaged in what many has described in the media circles as more serious pronouncements in the area of contractual arrangements that are questionable. Today, we will ask how come SSNIT doled out a whopping 47 trillion cedis as loans to some companies without any collateral, and indeed, did they spend 79 million cedis, pensioners' money, in procuring diaries, calendars, and all of the sort that you surely should be interested in on this conversation. And my guest today is the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Dr. John Ofori-Tinkwa. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You hardly get a rest now, these days, because you're always supposed to be responding to some of these issues. But these are scandalous revelations, if there's anything to go by. We can start with the very first one, and that's what is actually in the news recently. Did SSNIT spend 79 million pensioners' money on procuring pocket diaries and calendars?
I can confidently say to you that the answer is no. Categorical no.
Sorry, this is put out there. This is already in the public domain.
Yes. So let me speak to it then.
Okay.
So every year, SSNIT buys calendars and diaries. In fact, as a matter of fact, I brought some of these with me to show you.
Okay.
Initially, I thought this was going to be gifts for your wedding, impending wedding, but we'll use it for another purpose. But let's start with the calendar first. SSNIT, maybe your cameras can pick it up. SSNIT buys these calendars, and these calendars are basically, I like to call them like operational documents.
Okay.
In the sense that on here are various dates that are very important in our monthly business calendar, such as contributions, payments dates. Those are the ones in red. And then the ones in green are the pension payments dates. Those are the dates that we have to pay pensions. And then these are the one in sort of purple or blue is the last validation dates. So these are important dates in the month that that pertain to SSNIT's business.
Okay. So
we buy these calendars and we give them to our stakeholders, the pensioners, so they can know when they are getting paid, and the establishments, so they know when they have to file their contribution reports and so on and so forth. So we distribute this to pensioners, we give them to establishments, contributors, and our other stakeholders. So this is one of the calendars that we buy. There is a bigger one, which is, I think it's got 6 leaves. And they look like this. So this is a regular calendar, but it's an advertising piece for us.
Okay.
Right? So all the various images have something about SSNIT. Okay? And these also we distribute to our stakeholders, pensioners, contributors, etc.
So let me not even interrupt this. So it's not as if you have not actually spent money on purchasing calendars and also diaries. You've done so.
Yes, we've done so.
But what are you saying? Are you saying they are not up to 79 million?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
So how much have you paid for these calendars?
Very good. So for the SSNIT calendars, which are the ones that I've shown you, there is what we call the single panel, which is the first one I showed you.
Yeah.
And then there are the wall calendars. So for 2017, which are these ones.
These are the current
right?
ones. But we understand that these procurements are for 2018 and not 2017. That means that these are existing calendars, right?
Okay.
They were not purchased this year.
These ones were not purchased this year. These ones were purchased last year, in 2016.
Okay. So can we focus on the 2018 one?
Okay. So let me just say something. So 2018, we went through, we advertised for such calendars to be procured.
When was this advertisement put up?
So this is an advertisement which appeared in the Daily Graphic, and the date there is June 14th, 2017.
Okay, this year.
Right.
Under your
under my tenure.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So we advertise. It goes through national competitive tender.
Okay.
And you go through the tender evaluation process and all of that, and you select a supplier.
Okay.
So we've advertised for same, right? Both calendars and the diaries.
Okay.
And by the way, the diaries are also used, given to our stakeholders. Okay. So we go through the process. So just so that you know, for 2017, we bought 200,000 of the single panel calendars. Each one of them cost us 44 pesos. That's what we paid for it. So for a total of 88,000 Ghana cedis. And then we bought these wall calendars, the 6-panel ones. We bought 15,000 of them. Each one of them cost us 5 cedis for a total of 75,000. So for 2017 calendars, we spent a total of 191,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
That's for 2017. Now, for the ones that we are buying for 2018, which has just finished, gone through tender.
So you've not bought these calendars?
We haven't bought them yet.
They've not been printed yet?
They have not been printed yet.
Have you issued payments to the people who are supposed to actually purchase them?
No.
Have you contracted a printing agency or somebody to produce them?
Yes. And that contract, I think, the contract got approved at entity last week.
Okay, so just last week.
Just last week.
Okay, proceed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're buying the same quantities, 200,000 of the single panel, and then we're buying 15,000 of the wall calendar.
Okay.
So in 2017, for the single panel, we spent 88,000 Ghana cedis. This year, for the ones that are 2018, right, we're spending 80,000.
So there's a reduction.
There's a reduction.
What's accounting for this reduction?
What's accounting for the reduction is that last year the way the procurement was done, the size of the calendar was not made to fit the standard paper size. Okay, so in the tendering process, people were quoting for a bigger calendar size than was actually delivered.
We didn't specify the scope we wanted?
We did, but...
So how come there were quotes higher or bigger than what we wanted?
We did specify what we wanted.
Yeah.
But what happened, and this has been relayed to me, what happened was that when the items were being delivered, the size that was being delivered was smaller, and so they ended up getting more up in the quantity for it. Okay. Now, that we can talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. But I think the most important thing here is that this year we said, look, you got to stick to the standard paper size so that there is not cutting and the waste. And if you do that, you are able then to reduce the pricing. So we're able to actually get it down to 80,000. Similar thing for the wall calendars. Last year there was we paid 75,000. This year we are paying 70,500.
Okay. So
it is not true. We are not spending.
Was that also, I mean, a matter of scoping and the space required?
I think since since I came, I've told the procurement people that it's not business as usual anymore. We have to be on point. We got to make sure that we are getting competitive prices and so on and so forth. So for me, I have been on the procurement people telling them that we need to get value for money for everything that we do.
I get you. So now, let me understand it. The price difference for the calendars, specifically, can you quote them again? That the 2017 one, which is currently what you're showing us, cost how much? Yeah,
the 2017 one, for the single panel, cost 88,000 Ghana cedis. And 2018 is costing 80,000 Ghana cedis. That's a saving of 8,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
For the wall calendars, the 6-panel one, for 2017, it costed 75,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And for this year, for the 2018, it's going to cost 70,500. right? That's 4,500.
I get you.
Ghana cedi savings.
But are there documentation to support this? This sheet is from your end. Are there specific contract arrangement that will let me see that indeed what you're saying is true?
Yes. There are contract documents that I can make available to you if you want.
I get your point.
Yes.
The other point that's also important in this particular case is, I mean, these are just for the calendars.
Yes.
There's also an issue raised about pocket diaries,
yes,
which we understand is part of the calendars being inflated to 79 million in this case.
Okay. Interestingly enough, I brought some of them so that you and viewers can see what they are. So SSNIT purchases 3 kinds of diaries. This is what they call the pocket diary because it's a smaller one.
Okay.
And then there is a medium-sized one, right? And then there is a large one. They call it, I think, in the tender, they called it the luxury executive diary. Okay. That's what in the tender, I'm reading from the tender document. And this one in the tender document is described as the luxury desk diary.
Okay.
And then this one in the tender document, which is the ad that was put in the paper, in the graphic, is called the deluxe luxury slim pocket diary. That's the one I'm holding.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with the big one first.
Okay.
Okay. So for the big one, which is the executive diary, in 2017, we purchased 800 pieces of this, 800. Okay. Now, each one of them cost 54,000 Ghana cedis. And so the total price for the 800 of this was 43,200 Ghana cedis.
Sorry, each one of the 800 cost 54?
Yes, this is how much we
okay.
paid for this.
All right, okay.
In 2018, which is the tender that we've just made,
okay,
they're buying the same amount. Each one of them is costing 57 Ghana cedis for a total of 45,600. So there is an increase of 3 cedis a piece on each one of these. For this one, the medium one, right? That one, they bought 1,500 of them for 2017. So that's the 2017 one.
Okay.
Each one of them cost 32 Ghana cedis, making a total of 48,000 Ghana cedis. Okay. This year we're buying the same amount as per the tender, and it's costing 35 Ghana cedis. So it's an increase of 3 Ghana cedis on each one. And so the total is 52,500 Ghana cedis. Then let's go to the last one, which is the luxury slim deluxe.
That's the pocket diary.
The pocket
we know
diary,
it to be,
right?
yeah.
So we bought 3,000 last year. Each one was 20 Ghana cedis for a total of 60,000 Ghana cedis. And this year we're buying the same amount for 22 Ghana cedis. So there's an increase of 2 Ghana cedis on each for a total of 66,000 Ghana cedis. So in summary, we are paying for the diaries. Last year, total, we paid a total of 177,460 Ghana cedis.
Okay, 177,000.
177,460.
Is it the diaries together with the calendars or the diaries?
Just the diaries.
Okay,
Just the diaries.
177.
Right. And then for the 2018, the total is 169,023 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Right. So if you look at also the calendars, it's 2017, we paid 191,525 Ghana cedis. And then 2018 is going to be 176,837.50 Ghana cedis. So the two together, if I'm to do quick math, it's less than 350,000.
So it's actually 345,860.
Correct. You've just done the mathematics.
So let me be clear.
So it's nowhere near your what was the number?
79 million.
79 million Ghana cedis.
So where is this 79 million coming from?
You tell me. You guys are in the business. of reporting.
Let me understand this. And can you show proof that there's documentation that the amounts you are showing us on these sheets are the exact amounts that these, bidding processes actually covered?
Yes, because when you make the tender, you bid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the contract will show that you supply these amounts for that contract price. Okay. And those contracts are there.
Which supplier actually won these contracts?
Is
it separate for the calendar and the the diaries? Is it separate?
Yeah, hang on. I brought something to that effect. Yeah. So the diaries and the calendars are tendered together. It's one single tender, as you saw in
I've seen that.
Yeah, in the invitation to tender.
Yeah.
So for the one that has just been awarded.
Okay.
For a total contract price of 169,023 Ghana cedis.
Mm-hmm.
The contractor that got the job is Messrs. Paper House. That's what I'm told. That's Messrs. Paper House.
Where is it from?
Is it an indigenous company? Yeah, it's a Ghanaian company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, is that an indigenous company that have been doing this for a longer period? Or is it a new company?
I don't know who,
okay.
What the
I get your point.
Is.
How about the other one?
Which other
so is it the same? Because you said it got it for 169,000.
Yes.
But this is up to 345,000.
This is the one for... this is for the 2018 diaries. Okay.
Yes, so that's for diaries.
Yes.
How about the calendars?
I would imagine.
Is it the same entity that's
there were two lots. Okay, so I'll advertise in two lots.
Okay. Right.
So there's the lot 1 that I've just spoken to.
Yeah.
So there is lot 2. And unfortunately, I didn't bring lot 2.
So we don't know for now.
So conceivably, that one could have gone to a different company.
Okay.
But the pricing that I've shown you
is what's supposed to be. But my other point I want to know is that why do we need calendars and diaries? Why do you need it?
As I said in the beginning of our conversation, these calendars are actually operational documents.
Yes, for one. So who do you give it to? Do you give it to the pensioner?
We give it to pensioners.
So all pensioners have the calendars?
So we print photo for the single ones, the single panel ones. We print 200,000 of them. Any pensioner that walks into our offices to do transact business can get one to put on the wall.
So you don't give it to them?
We give it to the Pensioners Association.
Okay.
There are Pensioners Association.
Okay.
So we give lots to, bulk to them for them to distribute it to the members.
Okay.
And then we also give to establishments.
Whose institution was it to buy these, calendars?
It falls on which department? Is that
I'm just asking, who took the decision to purchase these calendars?
It starts off from corporate affairs. It's a practice at SSNIT.
Okay, right? It's been done consistently.
It's been done every year.
And you sought to continue that particular practice because you found it worth continuing?
Yes.
And the rationale for continuing the practice is exactly what?
It's two things. One is, like I said, it's an operational document.
Okay.
People can look at it and see, okay, this is the date I'm getting paid for pensioners. And then for contributors, they can look and say, okay, this date I have to submit my contribution. This is the validation date, and so on and so forth. Now, if you walk around town, you see that we also have billboards.
I get your point.
SSNIT.
But there's another calendar.
Yeah.
What purpose is that one also supposed to serve?
This one.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one also is something that is sort of a promotional aid about SSNIT. So this one, for example, is saying, telling you about the biometric terminal. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
the
one that
terminal that's controversial.
Yes.
That is not functioning to T the way it's supposed to function.
Right.
Well, why do you advertise something that's not up to scratch?
That's another. I mean, this people.
Is this advertisement for SSNIT or for some of the things it is doing?
Yeah, this is for people. Youthfulness is not a permanent. It's not what permanent. SSNIT, my security for retirement. So it's kind of communicating a message.
And you think communicating this message is worth over 300,000 cedis?
I think that it's serving a dual purpose. Right?
Okay.
I mean, people use calendars. I have one in my office.
Do you give these calendars also to what they call it, the pensioners, or you give it to any other pensioner that you
we
want?
give it to the pensioners. We give it to pensioners. We give it to establishments. I'm sure if you go around your office here, you probably find a
I've
SSNIT
seen
calendar.
previous years having copies of these, but
Very well.
I'm asking, why would you want to spend on giving me a calendar in my office when indeed I have not asked for it?
Because you are a contributor, don't you?
I am, I
Yes.
know. But I've not
So
demanded that.
you need.
I mean, I'm not sure to the pensioner, the most important need is to have a calendar. Is that also?
Well, you know, the most important need
Yes.
may not be.
Yeah.
But the pensioner also needs to know what dates they can go to the bank and get their
I get your point.
paid and so on and so forth.
So now, beyond this, is it the same rationale you use for the diaries? Are they also going to the pensioners?
Diaries also go to pensioners and contributors.
Okay.
And then the diaries, part of the diaries also go to staff, the little pocket ones.
Okay.
So because, you know, you go to meetings.
So I'm a contributor. I've never received a diary before.
You haven't?
Never.
Yeah, I don't think we don't buy enough. If you look at the quantities.
So what criteria do you use in selecting the people who get to receive it?
I actually did ask this question, and I was given a list about the distribution list.
Okay, so there are selected institutions that receive them.
Yes.
And the rationale for these institutions is that they contribute more?
Not necessarily. I think that, like, for example, on this list, it's like identifiable bodies, unions, companies, chief directors.
Okay, I get you.
So on and so forth.
I get your point. So you're telling me that I did not spend 79 million on these diaries and
nowhere near that amount.
But you spent over 300,000 on them.
That's right.
You hope to spend over 300,000 on them.
I mean, this year we are.
Yeah, this year you're actually spending over 300,000 on them.
Both the calendars and the diaries.
Will it get to a point where you say that because we need resources and SSNIT needs money, we need to improve the pensions, we will stop some of these practices?
Yes.
Will it ever get to the point?
Yes. As a matter of fact, you know, there is every year I understand that SSNIT was even giving out hampers. This year I'm going to stop it.
You're going to stop the hampers? Yeah. How much does it cost to give out hampers to the various institutions?
I didn't
100,000.
but it's a big. I mean, yes,
100,000.
I think it's probably more than that.
But I mean, for calendars, it's more than that. So why
it's more than the calendar.
Big spenders,
from what I was told, we spent last year on.
It's more than the calendars.
It's more than the calendar. So I'm going to stop it.
So you're going to stop that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me understand. I mean, how this works. So now that you have delivered these, and the understanding is that you will get your calendars by which time? When will these calendars and their diaries be ready for distribution?
I think they have to be ready before the new year.
Before the end of this particular year?
Yes, because you need to get it for January very much. So definitely you have to be delivered before the new year.
I want us to move in another issue that's also pretty much in the media, and that's directly, except you have something else to say about this.
I think that's fine, but I think that the message should be clear that we're not, I think the reportage has not been correct.
Okay.
And we're certainly not spending 7.9 million.
Those who are actually reporting this say they have documents.
I dared them.
Since you didn't show me the contract.
I dared them.
Sorry, but you didn't show me the contract.
I'll be very happy to show you the contract. In fact,
so up to now, there's no evidence that you didn't even spend the 79 million.
Yes,
it's just your word of mouth.
Yes, but I'm willing to back it up. If I knew that this is the way it was going to go, I'll bring you a contract. But you are welcome to show up at my office on Friday, because tomorrow is a holiday.
Okay.
And I'll dig up the contract.
Okay, I get your point. But let's now get to the other issue that's also being raised. The SSNIT, and this is reporting the Auditor General's report of 2015.
Yes.
SSNIT, and I'm actually quoting what's in the media first and foremost. Did you dole out a whopping 47 trillion cedis as loan to some companies without any collateral?
What was the number again?
47 trillion Ghana cedis.
No. 47 trillion Ghana cedis.
What is in doubt?
So, okay. The amount stated in the Auditor General's report, the 2015 Auditor General's report.
You were not in office then?
Yes, but it's, I have
you
to answer. You
are still Director General, of course.
Yes, I have to answer it. It's 477 million.
Okay.
319,200.67 Ghana cedis.
So roughly 478 million.
Yes.
So
it's not 47 trillion Ghana cedis.
47 trillion
Maybe
Ghana
somebody is
old
thinking
Ghana cedi.
old cedis.
Oh, okay.
You know, but
I get your point.
you know when you want to sensationalize, when you go to the funeral and the donation you want it to look big,
they use the old Ghana cedi.
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting to know. But I mean, so let's get it clear.
Yes.
Who are these companies that got this particular amount? And is it true that they were done without collateral?
I can tell you about the companies.
Yes, let's first look at the companies.
And it is not all of them that was done without collateral. So if you indulge me,
okay,
I can go through it.
We can go through it
for you.
All right.
Okay. So
we can start with the Bridal Trust Company Limited. Right. That's a very controversial one.
Yeah. So by the way, I must say that all this stuff have been answered to on August 14th in Parliament in front of the Public Accounts Committee. So whatever I'm going to share with you here and all the documents are public documents
that you gave to the Public Accounts Committee.
So I'm not telling you anything new.
Let me clarify this particular issue, because I mean it's important that we get to know what the process has been.
Correct.
When an audit process is done,
yes,
they write back to the institution for some of these issues to be rectified.
Yes.
Was this information first given to the auditors before it got to the Public Accounts Committee?
Was the information given to the auditors?
So when they came to audit some of this information, they'll seek for me before they file their report.
Yes.
Was it given to them?
The auditors are the ones who do the audit.
Yes, I know. After the audit,
yes,
during their audit, in this particular case, they requested for information.
Yes.
Is the explanation you're about to give me
part
of the information you gave them?
Part of it, yes, and part of it, no, because what I'm going to give you includes the actions that they recommended that we take.
Okay.
So in terms of the
loans,
477
million Ghana cedis, it's true that you gave that as loans.
Absolutely.
Is it true that you gave them without collateral?
Not necessarily, not all of them.
How many companies were given these loans?
Very well. Okay. So there are companies. There is FOS Aluminium Limited.
Okay.
There is Bridal Trust, the one you've mentioned.
Yes.
There is Ghana Leasing Company. There is Intercity STC. And then there is Golden Beach Hotels.
You mentioned
that makes it 5.
These are the companies?
Yes.
So why were they giving loans? Forgive me.
Okay.
Let me know.
All right. So with your indulgence, we can go through them one by one.
Yes, let's start from the Bridal Trust.
Let's start from Bridal Trust.
Yes.
Okay. Just indulge me for a second. So with Bridal Trust, on the 12th of October 1994 and 1st of April 1996, this thing goes back that far.
Okay.
Right? The SSNIT board approved for them to be given these amounts of money for working capital. Okay, so the reason for the loan was providing a working capital facility. Those loans at that time were in Ghana cedi terms, right? One was 384,000 Ghana cedis back in 1994, and then the other one was 1 million Ghana cedis back in 1994. These loans were supposed to accrue interest at 30% per annum.
Okay.
Okay. The company defaulted. Yeah? Meaning it didn't pay the loan and became defunct in 2012.
So again, forgive me.
Yes.
Why was the company giving this loan?
For working capital.
For working capital.
Yeah, they applied for it and SSNIT gave it to them.
I mean, is that the only company that's actually asked that they be giving loans?
I think.
Is it normal practice that SSNIT gives loans to companies?
I think having gone through the books in history, I think I've seen loans that have been given to companies.
Okay, so what is the rationale and what is the basis for giving some of these loans? Does SSNIT share with people?
Ask your question again.
So I'm asking, why does SSNIT give loan to these institutions?
No, I think.
What does the pensioner get to gain from that?
No, okay, so let's take it for example. Let's say that a company that is deemed credit worthy, right?
Obviously, this is not.
Yeah, but hindsight is always 20/20.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Right?
Yeah.
So if a company is deemed credit worthy, and then they have make a proposal to SSNIT, and SSNIT through the investment process, decides that this company is worth being granted a facility, and that facility is priced at, on terms that SSNIT deems favorable to it, then you can go to board and board can approve.
Okay.
And they'll be giving that loan.
Okay, I get
the
your
concept
point.
is how do you pay it back, right? And getting the money back plus the interest and the profit that you want to
When
make.
were they supposed to pay?
Okay, so with this particular one, Bridal Trust, let's see, they were supposed to finish paying, my notes here doesn't tell me, but what I can tell you is that in October 2014, SSNIT went to court.
Were they giving the loan without collateral?
In this particular case, my notes here does not mention that. So for this one, I don't know what the arrangement is. But for the other ones, my notes will tell me what the various collateral is. But for now...
But Bridal Trust,
yes.
What do they do?
I think they were selling paints, I think.
Paints.
Yeah,
so they're virtually giving money to import paints.
Yeah, it's for working capital.
So what was a collateral demanded in this case?
Well, this is back in 1996.
But I'm just asking.
So I haven't gone through the file.
Yeah.
To see exactly
what did the Auditor General report on that? Was a collateral demanded?
The Auditor General report said that these loans are outstanding and needs to be collected.
Okay, so let's be clear on this. So we don't know whether they were actually giving without collateral.
I mean, I can check and get back to you on that.
Okay, so what is the status of implementing the Auditor General's recommendation on this matter?
Okay, so the status is that this particular case has been closed, but let me tell you how it's
been closed.
Yeah, meaning that it's been recovered.
Okay, you're taking the money.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
So let me show you. So we went to court in 2014, October 2014, obtained a court judgment for the recovery of the debt plus accrued interest and legal costs.
Okay.
Okay. The judgment debt was not paid. All right. So following that non-payment of the judgment debt, we sought leave to enforce it by auctioning the company's assets.
Did you do so?
Yes.
How much did you get out of that?
So a total, right, of 5,490,000 Ghana cedis was realized as part of the sale, right, and was released by the High Court on April 12, 2017, just recently.
April 12.
April 12, 2017.
But that's far lower, with greatest respect, to the 14 million or so that...
No. I mentioned that for Bridal Trust, there were two tranches of loans.
Okay.
There was 384,000
Ghana
cedis back in 1994. And then there was 1 million Ghana cedis back in 1996. So you add it together, 1.3 million.
Not 14.
No. It was 1.3
yes,
million.
No problem. Can proceed in that particular line. Yeah.
So that's the first tranche. There were two tranches, right? Okay. There was another. So for the 1.38 million Ghana cedis,
it's been recovered.
Okay, it's been recovered. We recovered a total of 5.4 million Ghana cedis
this year,
paid in April 2017.
How about the second tranche?
Okay, so there was a second tranche. I think in the books it's recorded as 100 a shareholder advance. Yeah, it was a shareholder advance of 193,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
193,000 Ghana cedis. And that 193,000 Ghana cedis was taken into account when we went to court. So take it that you're 1.3 million plus 193,000, right?
I'll get you.
Was all taken into account and put into that judgment, of which we received 5.4 million.
So you've actually recovered all the money?
So it's closed, yes.
So you covered all the money in this particular Bridal Trust case?
in this particular Bridal.
With interest?
Yes.
Okay, now, so...
But we had to do it through selling the company's assets.
All right.
But it took a while.
Of course, I understand that this Auditor General's report was in 2015.
Yes.
But let's also move...
It took a while. We just got paid in 2017.
The 5 companies we are talking about today, these 5 companies.
Yes.
First of all, let me get to know which of them have not paid so far.
Okay. That's a good one. Okay. So the ones that are still outstanding, we have one with Intercity, STC.
STC.
Yes.
How much does it owe you?
Okay. Hang on one second.
So if you're watching this, we are still live on Upfront. What you are seeking to do is to get to know whether or not the amount of money that the Auditor General reported in 2015, as you've heard in media reportage across the country, is actually be recovered, or what has been done about these monies. The Director General of SSNIT is my guest here in the studios, and he's seeking, among other things, to draw my attention to some very important issues. Specifically, what percentage of the 5 companies that were giving loans, some of them we understand without collateral, how many of them have actually paid back to the state, and what is the status of implementation of the Auditor General's recommendation in this particular case? So that's what the Director General is seeking to explain to me. Yes.
Okay. So yes, Intercity. So we have 3 tranches of loans outstanding with them.
Okay.
So we have a first tranche in 2014 for 2.8 million Ghana cedis. We have a second tranche in 2015 for 6.5 million Ghana cedis.
So he gave first loan, it was not paid. He gave a second one the next year.
Yeah. And then there is a third tranche of 4.4 million. The dates that I've given you were the maturity dates.
Okay, let me be clear.
That's when they were supposed to be paid by.
Okay, so they've not paid.
Right, they haven't paid.
The 3 amounts you're talking about in this case.
Plus another one, which is 20 million Ghana cedis.
In which year was this?
I think, I'm not sure which year is it, but that was recorded as a shareholder advance, but it's still outstanding.
Okay. So in all, how much has STC paid?
None.
When were they supposed to pay? In 2016?
Yeah. So as I read to you, the schedule was that the maturity dates, there was some that was due in 2014, 2015, and 2016.
So what steps have been taken to recover these monies?
So, hang on one second. So, all right. So I have a letter in front of me here, which is a letter dated October 18th, 2016.
Yeah.
2016. Signed by Honorable Samuel Nyama-Donko, which used to be the previous managing director of STC. Right?
Yes, what does the letter say? Sorry, forgive me.
Yeah, the letter basically says, and indulge me with your permission, right? Our discussions on the subject matter refer, meaning we had written to them about the SSNIT term loans to ISTC. The board and management of Intercity STC coaches is grateful to you for your cooperation over this matter, right? SSNIT Corporation.
Okay.
As you may be aware, ISTC has not been in the position to service the facilities as per the loan agreements due to our financial challenges.
Okay.
We are pleased to inform you that as part of the efforts to revamp the once enviable transport organization, His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama has procured 50 Scania coaches for ISTC's operations. The coaches will be commissioned very soon for our operations. We wish to assure you that with the acquisition of the new coaches and other revenue generating avenues ISTC is pursuing, we would be in a better position to make good on our obligations under the above named facilities.
When? Let
me finish. On this note, we are ready to engage the trust to come out with a repayment plan to settle our indebtedness. Please be assured of our utmost cooperation in this regard. Signed, Samuel Nyama-Donko, Honorable Managing Director.
When was this letter sent?
This is October 18th, 2016.
Okay. Was there an indebted plan detailed and established between the 2 companies?
So this was the letter, right? And now, since we came, there's a new MD, and that's Honorable Nana Konya, right?
Yeah.
So we are engaged with Nana and his team to come up with to agree on a plan that makes sure that these things get paid with the requisite interest. So that engagement and discussion is ongoing.
Okay. All right. Now, let me be clear on this particular issue, because it looks pretty clear that you said discussions are ongoing for them to pay. Do we know when they're going to pay?
that those
The
negotiations
loans, what were they
have been
taking for?
concluded.
What
was the loans taking for?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to refer to my
Yes,
notes.
was it to buy new?
No. Some were used to pay some indebtedness that ISTC had to NIB.
Okay.
And then there was some to pay, was a judgment debt also to another company. I think it was Vida or something like that. Let me check it out. And then there was once they needed a facility to be able to pay salaries.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I get you.
So those were the.
All right. Now, let me be clear on some of these issues because I get the impression that much of what we have actually dealt with is the only outstanding issue. So
there is other outstanding.
Which one is the final one?
There is one with the Ghana Road Fund. And by the way, I've heard in the reportage that the money never got there, things like that. No.
You gave loans to Road Fund?
Yes.
How much was given to Road Fund?
I'll have to refer to the
notes.
Okay,
please do quickly. Okay, so we are still live on UPfront here.
Yes.
Our discussion with the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust is currently happening here in the studios. And Dr. John Ofori-Tinkwan is giving me details of what was supposed to be loan agreements that the Auditor General says they were supposed to recover, which are outstanding, some of them without collateral. But we are on the very specific one to do with how much loan you gave the Road Fund. Mm-hmm. And which period are we talking about?
So there was a first tranche of loans granted in March 2008.
Okay.
I think that time it was the equivalent of $85 million US, okay. The CD equivalent. Mm-hmm. And then there was a second tranche of loans given on March 2010.
Okay.
Okay, and that one was for 109 million Ghana cedis. Mm. Okay. And these loans were given, the purpose, as stated, was to pay, settle payments to contractors under the Road Fund. Okay. Okay. Now, there were key features of the loan were this, right? That the loans were going to attract interest of Bank of Ghana prime rate plus 200 basis points. That's 2%.
Sorry, how much were they supposed to pay?
How much?
As in pay back to the state, to SSNIT. How much were they supposed to pay back?
That's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah, I wanted to understand because of my time. I'm told I'm having less than 5 minutes to run.
I don't think that it is.
So they've not paid
here.
Have
they paid some?
How much? What percentage have they paid?
Right now, as I'm talking to you, there is a renegotiated debt of 329,600,000 Ghana cedis.
329 million.
Right.
That's how much they ought to pay you.
Yes, and some of it has been paid. Okay. However, payments due from January 2017 to June 2017 have been duly honored with a total receipt of 163 million Ghana cedis, being principal, and 141 million odd Ghana cedis, and interest of 21 million Ghana cedis. The loan balance currently stands at 231 million Ghana cedis as at the close of June 2017.
What's been done to take these monies from them?
We've dealt with the ministry. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. And they are now on a payment plan. Okay. And we are receiving, as you can see, from January to June 2017, they were making payments. In fact.
Okay, because I'm running out of time, I want us to quickly run up on this particular conversation. Yes. And it will be in this particular form. I mean, so now we know that there's some action being done on the Auditor General's report and the recommendations being done. Yeah. But you still have not told me specifically which of these contracts were without what they call a collateral.
Oh, there's one.
So out of the 5, you still cannot say which ones.
Yeah, I mean, look.
But you insist that they are not all.
Not all, because most of it had,
without collateral.
Like for example, the one to Road Fund. Yeah. The security was a pledge on the revenue accruing to the Road Fund. So that's
one out of the 5.
Right. So let me tell you one. There is one. There was one. One we haven't even talked about is Ghana Leasing. Okay. Yeah. There was one. Loans given to Ghana Leasing. Ghana Leasing, you use it to buy equipment, generators, and stuff like that. and you are supposed to attach all of that stuff as the collateral.
Okay, I get it.
And then by the time the company is not paying, you go and you value those assets, and you find out that those assets have lost value.
Okay, I get you. But my final questions will be in the recapping point. Now, what's the status of this 72, 78, whatever percent you want to put, $1 million software, what they call it, that you're supposed to purchase, which is not performing up to today? What's the status of investigations on that?
Well, you know, Ray, right?
Yeah.
The last time I was here, I told you that that matter is with the Yoko.
Yes,
right?
and also with the PwC. So that's what I'm asking for the status.
So the status on that is that the matter is with the Yoko. Since the last time that I met with you,
yeah,
one other staff member has actually have been interdicted.
How many have been interdicted so far?
Just one on that particular one.
So only one.
And then Dr. Faglo was a separate case.
Okay,
right?
all right.
Where he's been dismissed.
So sorry, you're saying that it's only one person that's been interdicted on that matter?
Yeah, because the person is an employee at SSNIT.
Who is the person we are talking about now?
The person was the OBS project manager.
Is it Mr. John Hagan-Mensah?
That's correct.
Okay, so then beyond Mr. John Hagan-Mensah,
nobody has been interdicted.
And why was he interdicted?
Well, you know, I think that there was, you know, Yoko is of the view that, you know, he initiated, he was a project manager.
Okay, so
and he initiated a lot of the...
So has your predecessor been engaged by Yoko?
Yes, I know that the Yoko has been talking to him.
Okay, how about the board chairman in the previous board?
I heard that he's been invited, but that because he's no more board chairman, that subpoena wouldn't come to me.
Okay, now, can you put a finality to the exact figure that you are paying for this OBS as we speak?
I cannot put a finality to that.
What's the problem with having to come to this figure term?
Because there are...
You are still making payments. When was the last time you made payments on that?
Oh, the last time I made payment was probably in March or something like that.
In March? Okay.
No, in April. In April.
In
but
April.
Since then, I haven't made any payment. Because some of the contracts that I saw related to some of the recurring fees, I found it problematic.
Is the OBS functioning 100% now?
No.
What percentage is it functioning?
It's a difficult one to answer. I keep on likening it to the fact that, like, let's say you bought a nice jet, nice airplane. Yeah. It's on the runway. It can taxi, all right, but it cannot take off. Okay, so is that 10%? Is that 20%?
So it's not fully functioning?
That's right.
Okay, but let me also find out from you finally. You said you're not going to spend more, but you're going to fix the system. What have you done in fixing the system?
Well, what I said was that I engaged the vendors, and the vendors gave me an undertaking, a written undertaking, that they will help us fix it at no extra cost.
Thank you so much, sir. And that's all we can do for today. That's the Director General of SSNIT, Dr. John Ofori-Tinkwah. He's my guest on Upfront today. We hope to have him back, because I'm sure the issues of SSNIT will not die today. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition.